Boom. We are live, boys and girls. It's your boy, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic week wherever you may be, and of course, however you may be listening. I got yet another relaxed show for you guys today. I'm just going to be recapping Iowa's victory over southeastern Louisiana. Not really a big deal, but due to the nature of what I have started doing here, I kind of have to do, at the very least, every or almost every, you know, football and men's basketball game for the Iowa Hawkeyes, which is fine. So, all I was simply saying is that last night's game was not the most popular game known to the new world. Okay. Okay. By the way, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button because subscribing makes you feel good. And just in general, it really helps out a lot. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye fan, why not subscribe? I mean, there's no one else who really does what I do. Let me fix the game there. And so this is a 360 win, as they say, just an all-around victory, a victory for me, a victory for you. But if you don't think I've earned it, at the very least, like, comment. I try and comment to everybody's comment, which also most YouTubers don't do. They barely respond to anybody's comments. But I feel that is the least I could do for your guys' support. And I will be putting the PayPal link in the description if you guys want to support the channel monetarily and then, share out the show. But without further ado, let's get into this. So, yeah, I mean, the game was not, you guys just saw a little bit of my email there. The game was not beautiful. It was very, very choppy. And, I mean, there was a skirmish that happened. I don't know what that guy was thinking. Now, in fairness, Robbie Hummel was overreacting quite a bit. I mean, the guy, he made a mistake and he was uncomfortable. And he was what's known as uncomfortably laughing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. I've seen it many times, but when someone is embarrassed, when they know that they screwed up, that they did something silly, they uncomfortably laugh, like the like that type of stuff. So there was a scuffle. But outside of that, really the thing that just kind of made this game what this game was just kind of how ugly it was. I mean, the game really was choppy, and that is kind of to be expected. When you're a school like Iowa within the Big Ten, you have finals, and the reality is, as much as we like to say, don't overlook an opponent. Don't overlook an opponent. It's easier said than done. I mean, you don't think that Iowa is not aware that they are playing Southeast Louisiana? Louisiana? I mean, come on, they are. 100% they are. And it's hard not to allow that into your mindset. Now, it is what it is. But the game was incredibly choppy. But the Iowa Hawkeyes did get some good stuff in the second half. And I'm not going to talk so much about last night's game as much as I'm going to talk about what I have seen in 12 games. Well, yeah, they're 9-3, 9, 10, 11, 12. What I have seen in 12 games for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and kind of what I'm thinking about this team. I did a poll on my Facebook group, 247hawkeye.com, which is an actual website, by the way. But if you want to join the group on Facebook, it's pretty easy to search. Just go and search it. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, be sure to follow me on Twitter at 247Hawkeye. Let's pull up Iowa's score yesterday. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about what I have seen from Iowa basketball in the last. Google keeps saying that they have one more win than they actually have. The Iowa Hawkeyes only have 9 wins. They are 9-3. They beat Southeastern Louisiana 93-62, and really, I mean, the lead was even bigger than that. But you know, Iowa put in their scrubs, as they say, and you know, some of the lead was lost. Let's check out some of the team stats here. You know, kind of what I'm thinking of in the future here is a weekly morning show where we all get together and hang out. You have your cup of coffee, I have my cup of coffee, and we talk. You know, you sip your cup of coffee listening to me talk about Iowa Hawkeye sports, and I sip my coffee while talking about Iowa Hawkeye sports. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Patrick McCaffrey had 16 points. Keegan Murray had 20 points. Philip Rebraca had 5 points. I don't know. It's, you know, I remember when I watched Philip Rebraca's highlights at North Dakota, and he was a very, very, very capable scorer, both inside and out. And so I am kind of surprised that he hasn't had a big game yet. Now, do I believe he's played poorly? No. The Hawkeyes need him as their starter, because if they didn't have Rebraca, Iowa would be getting pounded when it comes to rebounding. I'm sorry, guys, but Keegan, Chris, and Patrick are not cutting it on their own when it comes to rebounding alone, okay? So Rebraca is very important in that regard. He's also a good defender. He is. But it's just like last night he missed some bunnies. Maybe he's not used to the more limited looks he gets compared to what he got at North Dakota. But in reality, he's still starting and playing 20 plus minutes a night. So, you know, I was hoping that by now he would have figured it out and he would be at least a 7-point-a-night scorer. But we just don't see it. We're not seeing it. And I don't know what it is. I cannot put my finger on it. But with that being said, if Patrick McCaffrey is giving you 15 plus, you know, on any given day, you're solid. You're golden. You're golden. Jabo had 13 points. I'm still not a fan of him playing more than 20 minutes. I think Jabo should at the most play 20 minutes a night and give the other minutes to Aaron Eulis and Joe Toussaint. I'm just, you know, even on a night like this where Jordan has 13 points, okay, there were moments in the game specifically that I saw, and I always see these moments, but I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here when I talk about this, where the outside of shooting the ball, there's nothing else that Jabo brings to the game. You know, with Joe Toussaint, if he's not scoring, well, he might assist a few people. He might get a few steals. He's definitely going to give you hustle. He's definitely going to give you energy. Whereas Jabo, if he's not stroking it, then that's all you're going to get is kind of a guy just running around. So I think at most Jabo should be playing 20 minutes, not 23. Ulyss and Toussaint are more than capable. It's time to go to them. And, well, Tony Perkins for that matter, because they're all three of their upside is better for Iowa than what Jabo currently offers. Okay. But I don't want to spend any more time on that. I've said it many, many times. I am not a fan of Jabo. I think Jabo is a crutch that an addict, uses, and that addict is Fran McCaffrey. He can't stop using Jabo. Let me pull up something here. Iowa basketball. Let's look at the stats for this team so far. So I and again, when I said what I just said, that's not saying that he can't play at all, because he needs to play. Iowa needs shooting. They need to be able to space the floor, but not more than half the game. Not more than half the game. All right. Let's go back and just check out. Joe Toussaint had 5 points. He was also in the scuffle with the guy. The guy gave Joe Toussaint an elbow. I don't even know why he did that. I remember when I played basketball, there was guys who would do that all the time, where you would go and tie them up, and all of a sudden they would start spazzing out like, no, it's my ball. And it's like, dude, even if you win taking the ball in the tie-up, what does that even prove? Who cares? So I think it's silly. Anyways, Tony Perkins had 8 points. I continue to be very bullish about him. He absolutely gives something that the Hawkeyes have not had in years, if not ever, which is I can't think of one besides Mike Gazelle. Tony Perkins at 6'3", 6'4", and his athleticism gives Iowa something getting to the rim that they haven't had in a long, long time, and he's good at it. Now, if he could become about a 35% three-point shooter, then it would be golden. So I'm hoping that he is able to take it to the next step. Connor McCaffrey had 5 points. Peyton Sandfort had 10 points on 17 minutes. Aaron Ulyss had 4 points, and Chris Murray only had 1 point on 10 minutes. Chris Murray had a tough game. I'm not really sure what was going on with him. He just didn't seem locked in. He looked kind of spaced out. So, all right, let's wrap this up. So listen, guys, I feel good about this Iowa Hawkeye team. Like I said, I would immediately start playing Joe Toussaint, Aaron Ulyss, and Tony Perkins as my primary guys who are getting the minutes at the guard position. I think Jordan Bohannon should be getting 15 to 20 minutes a night. Outside of that, hopefully Josh Agundale is okay. I think he is. He rolled his ankle last night. The one thing that would be excellent for the Iowa Hawkeyes is if either 6'11" Riley Mulvey or 6'11" Josh Agundale were good to go to play minimum 10 minutes a night for the Iowa Hawkeyes come Big Ten play. But they're just not. They haven't, either one of them have not gotten enough minutes in the tune-up for Big Ten play. They're not ready. Now, who knows? Maybe once Big Ten play happens, Iowa could be blowing out a team or could be getting blown out, and, they can get significant minutes. But as it stands right now, it's they aren't ready. So Iowa is going to have to roll pretty much with the forwards that they have been rolling with, which is Rebraca, both Murray twins and Patrick McCaffrey. So let's check out the net rankings before we get out of here, and the Ken Palm rankings, and let's see where Iowa is at. They should be top 25. Yep, 24th in the net rankings. The Iowa Hawkeyes are 8-3, and in the Ken Palm, the Iowa Hawkeyes are 24th also. So they have the 4th best offense in the country and the 110th best defense in the country, which is not going to cut it. They need to immediately improve that. With the quickness, they need to improve that. And last but not least, here are some of the just the player stats, and I'm going to be telling you guys what I feel good about. Number one, I feel very good about Keegan Murray. Okay. Keegan Murray is legit. CBS Sports had Keegan Murray as I think their 7th rated prospect, meaning he was going to be an NBA lottery pick. Okay. Keegan Murray is going to get drafted in the 1st round this upcoming season. Okay. If not, maybe even a top 5 pick. That's how good he is. Okay. I feel very good about Keegan Murray's game. Now the question is, can Keegan Murray get to the point where he can start scoring in isolation, because he does a really good job of scoring in the flow of the basketball game. But the question now is, can Keegan score when the flow of the game is choppy? Can he score just facing up, having a guy guard him 1v1? Can he pop it in his face? Can he, get a nice little jab step? So, we'll see what happens there. But guys, he's averaging 23.2 points per game. And anytime you have a guy averaging 23.2 points per game on your team, you're an NCAA tournament team. And I got to tell you guys, if Iowa can become an NCAA tournament team, which would be the 4th straight year, that would be a big accomplishment. There are people who are not fans of Fran McCaffrey, but I would have to admit that is a big accomplishment. I remember reading an article from Hawk Central, and there was a tweet about it. No, it was the Des Moines Register, where good Iowa teams in the past would make the NCAA tournament 3 out of every 4 years. Not to mention how basketball is totally different now with transfers and things like that. It's harder and harder and harder to make it 4 out of 4 years. My only criticism with Fran McCaffrey has been 2 things. One, at the beginning of his career, the Iowa Hawkeyes were an excellent defensive team. Now they suck. So what happened? The other question I have is, can he get past the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament? Can he get to a Sweet 16? Is he capable of that? Are his teams capable of that? So far, the answer is no. So we'll see. Patrick McCaffrey, I have been very thrilled with him. He runs the floor well. Iowa, in virtually every game, will have a more talented forwards position than the opposing team. Rebraka complements, Keegan, Chris, and Patrick really well. My only concern is still my only concern. My 2 only concerns, okay, is 1, the defense. Is Iowa going to ever improve with that? And number 2 is, if Peyton Sandfort, the freshman, the true freshman, ends up redshirting or not getting very many minutes, where does Iowa get their 3-point shooting outside of Jordan Bohannon? Because I got to tell you guys, the only 2 pure shooters that the Hawkeyes have on this team right now is Jordan and Peyton. Now, I like what I've seen from Chris. I think he can be an above average 3-point shooter. I think Keegan can be an above average 3-point shooter. I think Patrick might be able to. Trying to think if there's anybody else. Maybe Tony Perkins, but I doubt it. And that's it. But for now, the ones who are above average currently, 3-point shooters, are Peyton and Jordan. And if Peyton doesn't get very many minutes, how will Iowa space the floor? Last year, Iowa had Nunji, Jabo, Wieskamp, Frederick, Garza. They could space the floor all over the place. In any given lineup, they would have 2-3 guys who could shoot the three. So, and my last thought is that Ulis is nipping at the heels of Joe Toussaint. Joe Toussaint, I have not seen as much growth from him as I would like. I think Ulis has the higher ceiling. Joe Toussaint is what he is. He is a good defender, very athletic, good teammate, but his shot is not good. And occasionally he gets out of control. Ulis, at 6'2", is very smooth, very relaxed. He has in my opinion, a more natural feel for the point guard position. His shot is, it's not definitely better than Joe Toussaint's, but I would say it's better. So here's the stats, guys. Patrick McCaffrey is averaging 11.9 points per game. If he can get that up to 12.1, that would be excellent. Jabo is averaging 10.8 points per game. I absolutely expect that to change. I think Jabo will go back down to 8 or 9 because once you get to Big Ten play, Jabo will not be able to score like he is now. Chris Murray is averaging 10.2 and Tony Perkins is averaging 8.9. All right, guys, those are my thoughts on the Iowa Hawkeye basketball team after they picked up their victory over Southeastern Louisiana to improve to 9-3. If they can be 10-3 going into Big Ten play, they will be in excellent shape for a 4th consecutive NCAA tournament berth in a row. All right, guys, be sure to smash that subscribe button because subscribing makes you feel good. And last but not least, like, comment. You guys get the whole gist. I try and comment to every comment that I can. I will be putting the PayPal link in the description if you want to support the show monetarily and help me, pave my way to Iowa City for a game here or there. I will be putting the game preview for Iowa versus Kentucky in Citrus Bowl here soon. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. Facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love y'all. Bye. Go Hawks.